Hello, hello. Welcome to my live video. My name is Sarah Edwards and my website is craftwithsarah.com. And for my Card Maker Success Summit presentation, we made this perfect pyramid card with the cute little Santa stuck in the chimney. So I can see a question already from Linda. And it says, Sarah, what inspired you to do pyramid card toppers? Um, and it's kind of funny because I started making cards probably about 15 years ago. And right back, all the way back then, decoupage and pyramid toppers were a real big thing. So that was kind of one of the first things I ever learned how to design in Photoshop was making pyramid toppers. And I didn't have a Cricut back then. I was all doing it with craft knife and scalpel and everything. And then it just sort of faded out and people weren't really making them anymore. But over the last couple of months or so, I've noticed that so many people are suddenly making them again. And I was like, yay, I love these cards. So yeah, I started designing them again, which has been fun to revisit something. Margie says, where do I find the SVG for the card? If you go to my video presentation page on the Card Maker Success Summit, you'll be able to find the download link. It's underneath the video and it's a little button. I can't remember exactly what it says, something like get the files for this project or something. And then they'll download in there. They come in a zip folder, so you do need to unzip it before you can put it into Cricut Design Space. And it's not actually an SVG file, it's a printable, so it's a print and cut file. But if you watch my presentation video, I show you how to upload it and how to get it all sorted in Design Space. Marie says, do you plan to make even more giant signs now that Cricut has released a 24-inch cutter? How easy they will be to put together. Yes, I was so excited to see the Cricut Venture. It isn't available in the UK yet, so I can't get my hands on one just yet, but I probably will once they come out. But if anyone's watching and they're wondering about my giant signs, I've got a little example. So I don't know if you can see past my microphone. So I love making these giant signs. And at the moment, if you can see, they come in sections. So you sort of stick it all together in the back. But with the Cricut Venture, you won't have to do that. You'll be able to cut it all out in one go. And they'll be so much quicker to stick together without having to match up all the little bits of card. And Carlos says, thank you for providing a file that those without a Cricut can print. You are most welcome. Just noticed I can click and see even more comments. Thank you everyone for commenting and watching. Your help was invaluable making the giant signs. Oh, good. I'm glad that it was helpful. I love making them. They take a long time to design and probably even longer to cut, but I think it's really worth it. And something I like to do is once I've made one, because I do them quite seasonally, I like to make them, and then when it's time to put it away, I've got a big underbed storage box, a plastic storage box, and it's big enough to lie them all out in. So I put them in there, put the lid on, and then it all stays nice and safe and doesn't get damp or anything like that. So I can bring it out the next year as well. So that's really nice to do. Brandy says, is it difficult to learn how to create SVG files? I think it depends a little bit on how comfortable you are at the computer, whether or not you already know any design softwares or you've had a little bit of experience, and also your kind of art skills. I'm not very good at drawing. I can't get a pen or a paintbrush or something and draw something that looks anything like what it's supposed to be. But I find it easier on the computer, I think, because I've always been around computers. My background's in web development, and my dad's very into computers, so I grew up with them. I find picking up computer software is quite easy, but even if you've never used anything like Illustrator or Inkscape before, there are so many tutorials available online. Even if you've never used it, you should be able to find something. And there's loads of kind of free places online too. And can you share some of your animals? Yes, so I don't know how many I've got within. I did bring some of the dogs down. So one of the things I love designing most is layered animals to cut with a Cricut. This is all my dogs. This is just the dogs that start with the letter A. I've done 250 something different dogs, and I just love making them. They're really cute. And I like that people can make them to sort of match their pets. And that's one of the really nice things of the Cricut is you can cut it in whatever color of card you want. So if I've done, for example, a fawn pug design, but you've got a black pug, you can just cut it in black card and then it'll match your pet. But yeah, I think I've got coming up to 1,000 different animals for, rainforest and African animals and big cats and farmyard and woodland and just about kind of every animal. I'm actually kind of running out. Every month I sit there and I'm like, what animals haven't I done yet? But that's a few of the dogs anyway. Lisa says, what is your favorite Cricut project you've ever made? I think it's actually the first project I ever made, which is it's from Design Space. So it's not one of my designs, but it's a little 3D gingerbread house. And I got my Cricut for Christmas. My dad got it for me for Christmas a couple of years ago. And this was the first thing I made with it. And it said in Design Space it was supposed to take like 30 minutes, and it took me about 6 hours. But I was so proud of it. And I've actually still got it on display now. I can't bring myself to put it away. Linda says, I have noticed that many people are using die cuts. Do you use die cuts or do you prefer the Cricut? What is the difference? So I don't have a die cutting machine like a Big Shot or a CeCe machine or anything like that. So a die cut would be like a physical metal die that you would buy that only cuts that particular shape. So it might be a flower or a dog or whatever. And then you'd run it through the machine. Those machines are often not electronic. You sort of turn a lever. I don't know much about them, so if that's wrong, please excuse me. But with a Cricut, what I love about it is you can load any design you want in there, as many as you want, and you're not limited. I think with die cuts, you are, because you've got to buy every single image that you want to die cut, it can get quite expensive. Whereas with the Cricut, although it might be more of an investment up front to buy the machine, once you've got it, there are just unlimited possibilities of things to make, which is amazing. Melinda says, could we use your file in Design Space but choose cut instead of print then cut to use as a guide? You could do that. Or if you watch my video, at the end of it, I talk about another more advanced training that I've got available on my website, which is how to design your own pyramid toppers. And in that video, I used a picture of my dog to make the pyramids go on this card. And I've got, this is how it looked when it was just printed. To find the video for that one, which is kind of a follow-on for my summit video, it's like a more advanced add-on. You can go to craftwithsarah.com/pyramid, and that will take you to that page to get my freebie to learn how to design your own. Cool. Have you done a marimba? What's that? Is that a dog? Is it like a big white kind of sheepdog retrievery thing? That kind of rings a bell. If so, yes, but I think I call it a Great Pyrenees on my website. And all my designs are available at shop.craftwithsarah.com. Joyce, yes, I do have a hippo design. I've actually got two. I've got one kind of realistic hippo, and then one Christmas hippo where he's sort of exploding out of a Christmas gift, which is more of a cartoony design. When you finish the animal kingdom, you can move on to the plants. Yes, that would be a good thing to do. I really don't have that many flowery things. I've got some flowers and some cacti, succulents and things like that. That's definitely something to try. All right. Jody says, can you scan an image, say, of a stamp, upload it to Design Space, and then be able to cut out the image? Um, you could, but it would probably be quite difficult to get a decent cut. Um, it would be hard, I think, to convert it into an SVG and get nice lines. I think to do something like that, there's a different type of cutting machine called a scan and cut, and they actually do let you scan in on the machine itself, and then it will cut round it. So if that's something you would want to do loads of, then a scan and cut might be a better machine than a Cricut. Alice says, with your Cricut, do you have ripping of the paper while cutting happen often? Not too often, but I've got a few tricks on how to stop it ripping. So the first is to use a light blue mat and make sure it's really sticky. If it's losing its stick, the card can move about on it and then it can tear. And also, a brayer tool is amazing. You push your cardstock down, get it really well stuck down on the mat, and that also helps it not to tear. Also, if it is tearing, you can try using less pressure when you're cutting. So perhaps if you were using heavy cardstock, try medium. And if you then find that it cuts fine, but it hasn't gone all the way through, then what you can do is before you eject the mat, just peel it up a little bit on the card, see if it's cut through. And if it hasn't, just press the go button on the machine again. It'll repeat the cut in the same place and then it should cut through. So hopefully some of that will be helpful. Valda says, Sarah, I love your designs. Thank you very much. What is the process you use to create? So usually it's just kind of coming up with an idea and then thinking about how that would work. With the animals, it's fairly simple because they look quite realistic, quite true to life. Whereas with the gnomes, I have a lot of gnomes. I love gnomes. Or more like scenes or giant signs. It's kind of sometimes a case of just sketching rough ideas and thinking, okay, this is a football gnome. So what could he have? He could be holding a ball. He could have a football pattern in his hat and be wearing football boots. So it's just kind of thinking about what would work and what wouldn't. Lisa says, for printing, do you prefer inkjet or laser? I prefer inkjet. I think it gives a better overall print. And I've got a Canon Pixma printer, which is brilliant because the paper feeds in the back. It doesn't go in the bottom. I found with printers that feed in from the bottom, if you're using something like photo paper or cardstock to print on, it can get stuck quite a lot. Whereas with these printers, because it just goes all the way along, the paper doesn't get stuck, which is brilliant. I do have a black and white laser printer at home, which I use for foiling, and that works fine. I don't use it very often. I got it to do foiling and I've done it like 3 times, but that's quite fun to do. Kath says, I need a cat design. Do you have one of those? Yes, I have lots of cat designs, lots of different breeds, but there is actually a free one on my website. If you go to craftwithsarah.com/free-SVGs, that has all my free designs on it. There's quite a lot on there, but they're on alphabetical order. So if you scroll down to the C's, then there's a free cat one on there, which is kind of a tuxedo cat. But of course, you can cut it in whatever colors you want. And if you're looking for a specific breed, then check out my SVG shop because there are loads on there. Valda, I want to make some of the larger Christmas items that you created last year. How do I mail them? Do you mean like actual 3D things, like 3-dimensional, it stands up by itself, or kind of a giant sign? I'm not quite sure. Generally the giant signs probably wouldn't mail that well just because they are so big. But if it's more like a layered design with lots of layers and so it's thick, then instead of putting it in an envelope, you could maybe make a box for it. Again, there's a template for card boxes on my website, a free one. And then you could even make it even safer to mail by maybe wrapping that box in bubble wrap and putting it into like a packaging box or something so it stays really safe in the mail. It might get a bit expensive though. I don't know how it is where you are, but here packaging, sending big things does get expensive quite quickly. Okay. Do you have any birds, for example, a cardinal? Yes, lots of birds. I do have two cardinals. I've got a male cardinal, which is the red cardinal, and then a female one, which is kind of more in browns. They are sort of Christmassy designs. Thank you, Brandy, for putting my website link up there. But I have a load of birds. Yeah, I've done like a British bird collection. There are exotic birds, loads of parrots and cockatoos, cockatiels, all of them. Um, I've also got a series of birds in flight. There's a cardinal there actually, which isn't a Christmas design, and a dove and an eagle, and yeah, all sorts. I love it. I just love making them. Um, Terry says, I noticed that you resized only one panel. Did this automatically resize the rest? So if that's for my Santa card, which is this one. All of the different pieces, they come on one layer. So you just resize it once and everything changes in proportion because it's all joined together. So yes, it will all change as one when you resize it. Okay. Thank you for all your comments. I'm having a little quick read through. Oh, Susan, I'm sorry to hear you're not a gnome fan. I never used to be either. I thought they were a little bit creepy, but now I'm in love with them. Do you have any plans to do something similar for another character or creature? So I'm assuming you mean like for all different occasions. So for the names, I do all different seasons and things. I have started doing teddy bears as well. There aren't very many at the minute, but I am planning teddy bears for all different occasions. I think on the moment on my website there is just like plain teddies, and there's Easter and birthday. Um, and who knows, with Halloween and Christmas coming up. Oh, actually, no, there are Christmas teddies already. There are Christmas teddies. I'm forgetting what I've done. Son, did you by any chance have a trash truck? I've been looking everywhere so that I can make one for my grandson for his birthday. I don't at the moment. It is on my list to do, but unfortunately, it's quite a long list and it's quite a long way down. I think if you look on Design Bundles or Etsy, there's a seller called Okadi SVG. I think that's how you pronounce it. And I'm pretty sure that they have a trash truck. They've definitely got bulldozers and cement mixers and things. So you might get lucky if you look. It's OKADEE Designs. So yeah, you might be able to find one there. Cool. And I've just seen you've also said, thank you for always answering our emails. You're welcome. Susan says, yes, just like your summit for the gnomes. Thank you. Teddies will work. Good. Yes, there will be lots and lots of teddies. And speaking of summits, obviously we've got the Card Making Success Summit now, which is my favorite one to do. But if you like Halloween, might possibly have something coming out soon. So stay tuned for that one. Okay. The Gnome Summit was so much fun earlier in the year. I put that together quite quickly just as a, oh, I'd love to do this. And yeah, it went well. So maybe another one next year. I'm not sure. Um, cool. So just looking through there. And for my card, if you want to make an envelope, I actually can't remember if I included it in my video or not. But if I didn't, on my website, there are some free envelope templates to cut with a Cricut. And I show you how to resize them to fit any shape of card. So there's a square one and a rectangle one. You can change the size to match your card. And I also go through how to address the envelopes too, using a pen on a Cricut machine. Okay. Just having a little read through. Hello, Sarah. I really love your cards. Thank you very much, Mercedes. If you want to make any more, I do have some other free ones on my website. I've got a couple here which I can show. I've got so many things out because I wasn't sure how much I'd need. So these are just a few extra layered card designs which are available for free on my website. This one comes in a couple of different sentiments for all different occasions. And then, to the person who was asking about cardinals, there is a cardinal card. Another Christmas card. This one I did in gold. And a couple of others. Let me just read this other comment. Is this another name for stained glass cards? And I really noticed that you only resized one panel. So yes, all of the panels for my pyramid card are all on one layer. So you just need to resize it once and everything changes in proportion. For the stained glass cards, yes. So that is the big kind of craze at the moment. Everyone's making them. So it's exactly the same type of card, but rather than sort of an illustration image, there's loads of these kind of stained glass effect pictures, which have been generated with artificial intelligence, which is super duper clever. I've been playing about with it a little bit and it's crazy. You can just type like stained glass Christmas card and it will come up with something beautiful. It's a little bit scary as an SVG designer that it can do that. But yes, it's kind of the same as the stained glass cards, but I called it a pyramid card because that's where I originally started, like years and years and years ago. That's what I knew them as. It was also called Pyramage back in the day, but I think that might have been a brand name. Not 100% sure on that one. Will the pyramid work on cardstock? I have Bristol and watercolor paper. As long as it can go through your printer, it will work fine. Yeah. Dale says, do you have a resources section for Cricut Design Space on your website? And if so, does it require your password? And you used my link. Thank you very much. I do have a page that has Design Space tutorials. If you go to craftwithsarah.com and look in the navigation bar, it says Design Space. If you click that, then that's got all my Design Space tutorials. And just for the tutorials, that doesn't require a password. But if you want to actually download any of my free SVGs, then you do need to create an account on my website to be able to do that. Is there a certain weight of paper that you use? For the actual pyramid, I use glossy photo paper. I can't remember exactly what weight it was. I'm in the UK, so we do GSM for our weight of card. I think it's probably about 210 to 240 GSM. But honestly, I just went to Amazon and typed in glossy photo paper and just bought the first one. So I'm not really sure what it is. Okay. I did a stained glass real picture and it turned out very well. That sounds beautiful. I do like the stained glass look. It's really nice. Um, yeah. CeCe says, Sarah, you are so talented and a great teacher. Thank you very much. That's very nice. I'm glad you're enjoying the videos and everything. And Sherry says, I love all your cards and layered everything. I only have a Cricut Joy, so I do resize. I'm not sure that I can do the pyramid card on my Joys. It would be really small. Um, you The problem with doing it on the Joy is that the Joy can't do print and cut, and this is a print and cut card, so you would struggle to be able to do it on a Joy. But if you download my file from the Summit video page, I did also include a version that can be cut with scissors or a craft knife. You don't need Cricut Design Space for that version at all. You just send it to your printer and print. So if you've got a Joy, then instead of using the Cricut, then you can use a hand cutting one and that should work just fine. Okay. Okay, I am being told it's time to wrap up. So thank you very much for watching along. What I'm going to do after this is just have a little read through the comments, go over to YouTube and watch the video. And if there's anything I can reply to that I haven't already, then I will try and do that for you. If you have any other questions about my video or my card, then you can email me, sarah@craftwithsarah.com, or post in the Summit Facebook group because I'm checking in with that regularly. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful time at the rest of the Card Maker Success Summit. Thank you. Bye.